See, sometimes mom knows a lot more than we think they do, don't they? And the scripture that I did this morning might seem a little odd for this morning, but if you really think about Mary, you think about sacrifice. You think about a mother that was willing to give it all for her son. Really, I mean, from the beginning of Jesus' conception through his death, she was a great mom. Because at the beginning, she had to say, okay, God, here am I, your handmaiden. 16 years old, she said, yes, God, I will be the mother of your one and only son. I will be the one that raises this child. I will live as an example to him. Wow, that's awful heavy for a 16-year-old. But she lived it, and she not only lived it, but she instilled many morals and values in Jesus. He was the one and only Son of God, but he was also a man. And he also had to have human intervention, as to speak, or human examples. And Mary and Joseph did a really good job with Jesus. I mean, what else can you say? They did a really good job. Mary is a model of what motherhood is. So are many of you ladies. You're a model because you're always there for your kids. You're always there no matter what they do. My poor mom, when I was growing up, I used to love to put fishing worms in my pockets. And I wouldn't take them out of my pockets. Do you know what a wringer washer is? Anybody know what a wringer washer is? Do you know what a wringer washer does to fishing worms in your pockets? Yeah, it kind of squishes them. And it kind of makes a mess. And I can remember so many different things that I did to my mom, and she still loved me. And she loved me through myself, in spite of myself. She always said I was a good boy, even though I was a heathen. I mean, she was a great mom, and we all have great moms in our lives, don't we? But Mary is an example for the rest of the world what a mother should be for a child. Mary stood by Jesus' side when everybody else walked away from him. When Jesus was at the height of his popularity, it was easy for Mary to be his mom. You know, you think about it, it was easy because she had it all going. Everybody's going, man, you're the mother of Jesus. You know, he's the Messiah. He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He's all this. But when Jesus' popularity started to decline, when the crowds started to thin out because he was saying things they didn't want to hear anymore, when he started giving them the truth, Mary stayed there and she was by his side. Even when all the disciples walked away from him in the garden that night, other than John, Mary was there. Mary never left Jesus' side. She was always there. Even when the priests and the elders of the temple started to try to get someone to betray Jesus, Mary stood by his side. She stood in the gap with him, just as so many mothers on this earth today do. They stand in the gap for their kids, even when nobody else seems to understand, even when nobody else cares. Mom is always there. It's one that you can realize, understand that she's going to be your cheerleader. She's going to be in your corner. She's going to be doing the rah-rahs when you need them. And she's going to help you through tough situations. Mary gave a big part of herself to see her son accomplish his mission, his ministry on this earth. Mary, like a lot of you ladies, sacrificed a lot for her children. That's why she's such a great example of motherhood. That's why many of you are such a great example of motherhood. As Jesus hung on the cross, these words that he spoke to Mary are really profound when you think about them. They're really deep. Because Jesus spoke directly to her. He looked at her and said, "Woman, behold your son." Jesus wasn't just telling her, "Mom, take John as your son." He was saying, "Mom," you think about this, "Mom, you did a great job of raising Mom. Mom, you've shown me love. Mom, you've given me pure, unconditional love. You've given me support. You've given me morals. You've given me unconditional, poured out, unblemished love. Look, you're still standing here at the cross. As I'm dying, as I'm bleeding, you're still standing at the cross, and you're loving me even in spite of all of this, even in spite of all my friends leaving me, even in the spite of what they're saying about me, you're still loving on me. Even though the world's rejecting me, you are nurturing me. Mom, I love you. I love you. Now I need to give you another gift, another one to take care of. His name's John, one of my disciples. Can you even imagine how Mary felt as she watched her firstborn son hanging on a cross to die for the sins of you and of me? Can you imagine as she saw him going through that pain and that agony? She's like a lot of you others moms. You remember the first time your child got a cut or got hurt? You just wanted to take it away, didn't you? You wanted to fix it. You wanted to take that pain away. I'm sure as Jesus hung on the cross, Mary wanted to take his pain away and take it upon herself. Mary's heart was torn from her chest as Jesus died on the cross. The cross is the place where Jesus no longer was Mary's son, but became her Savior and her Lord. And it was a beautiful thing. Mary was a great mom, even though her pain was so intense, even though the things she was going through, I don't know that she understood at that moment, but as Jesus died on that cross, she stood by his side and she didn't leave. Mary was a great mom who loved each and every one of her children, because there was more children, dearly. Many of you ladies are great moms. Many of you ladies can relate to Mary. You've seen your kids go through stuff. You've seen your kids make mistakes in their lives. You've seen your kids fall from graces to speak. You've seen them take all the pain and all the agony upon themselves, and you wanted to fix it, but you knew you couldn't. But you stood by their side. You stood by their side as they made not only bad decisions, but they made life-altering decisions. You stood there with tears and you loved them even through their bad choices. You never turned your back, even when they did things that you knew was going to cause not only them pain, but you pain and many other people pain. You still stood by their side because you have a gift that God gave you called motherly love. Dads don't understand it. We can't. We can't. We have a different love for our kids than moms do. Did you ever notice that? We really do. And it's good. It's a good thing. But moms have this special gift. And I believe Mary was just like you guys. She had a deep down love in her heart for her son. And she tried to help him through. See, Mary knew that Jesus was headed for trouble. I believe she did. I believe the way Jesus preached and the things he said, she knew that it went against the religious leaders. She knew that when he stood up in the temple, when he called them serpents and snakes and that they had the devil in them, she knew that wasn't going to go over too well with the religious leaders. She knew that him being very outspoken and making a whip and casting out the money changers, she knew that wasn't going to go far. She was sure that something was going to happen, and I'm sure she gave him the motherly advice that many of you have given many of us down through the years. Son, chill out. Cool it. You know what? You're coming down a path that is going to be a path of destruction. She didn't understand that through these attacks, through these things, God's plan of salvation was going to take place. So I'm sure Mary tried to persuade Jesus to stand back a little bit and not be so radical in his preaching and his teaching. As Jesus was being beaten, as Jesus was being tried before Pilate, all of Mary's friends tried to pull her away from experiencing the pain. I'm sure they tried to say, come on, Mary, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see this because, you know what, Jesus has brought this on himself. Come on, Mary, let's get out of here. But Mary would not leave. Mary stood by Jesus' side. And I think as they laid him on that cross and they drove them nails into his hands and into his feet, and they drove that crown of thorns over his head and they pushed that spear into his side, I believe Mary was standing there and she felt every in her own body because she was a devoted mom. In the eyes of the church leaders, in the eyes of the government, in the eyes of the mob, Jesus was nothing other than an outlaw, a rebel, a rabble-rouser, somebody that was trying to overturn the Roman government. But in Mary's eyes, Jesus was her son, her beloved son, the one that God sent as a gift 33 years before when she heard the angel stand in her living room and say, "Blessed are you among women, Mary. Blessed are you among women." As Mary stood at the foot of the cross, I wonder if her mind went back to that day. As she stood there, I wonder if her mind went back and she remembered the day that the angel comes. She remembered the day when the wise men came and worshiped her son. I wonder if she remembered all of that. I wonder if the events of that first Christmas helped her through the events of that first Easter. Moms, you are so awesome. You are so loved. You are so needed. Sometimes you're not told that enough. I was watching a film clip this morning, and I was trying to get it, but I couldn't get it quick enough this morning. It talked about a dad, and it showed this dad, and he's sitting there, and he's daydreaming. He's going, boy, because mom's standing there, and everything's kind of going smooth in the household. You know, everything seems to be peachy and creamy. He's going, boy, wouldn't it be nice if I could just stay home and be mom for a day? Wouldn't it be just wonderful if I could just have the life of luxury and lay in my bubble bath like mom does all day? Wait a minute, now it's not ending there. Just moms, wait, easy. Don't throw nothing at me yet, okay? And so he gets the reverse role. And as the film goes on, the kids are asking, they forgot their lunch. The dog did this, the cat did that, the husband called about this, everything. The whole day was an interruption after interruption and after interruption and after interruption. At the end of the day, the dad's going, I don't want this job. You have a special job. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job as moms. It's the most hard job you ever had. There was a thing on Fox the other day about interviewing people to be for a job that was 24/7. It was motherhood. People are going, are you crazy? Why would I want to do that job? And they said every mom in America does this job. You are a blessing. Just as Mary was a blessing to Jesus, you are a blessing. And on Mother's Day, we honor you. We celebrate who you are. We celebrate the gift that God put inside of you, that gift of motherhood. We not only celebrate it, but we want to thank you because you deserve all the thanks that you can get. As Mary stood by her child on the cross, you stand by your children on their crosses. You stand by your children when they do the wrong or they do the right. You stand by your children when they're punished, when they, some even end up in jail. You stand by your kids. Today, we want to take time to thank you for being who you are. As Jesus hung on the cross, that's what he was doing. Woman, behold your son. Son, behold your mom. He was telling John, you know what? This is my mom, but this is also your mom. Take her. Take care of her. Mary, Mom, take John and let him step in the place where I was. Mary did a pretty good job because John turned out to be one of the greatest disciples of all times. He was the one that wrote the book of Revelation. He was exiled to the Isle of Patmos, so she did a pretty good job raising John after she did Jesus. So Mary was a good mom. You guys are great moms. I just want you to do one thing. I want you to have the most wonderful, special day that you've ever had. I want you to spend time with your family, with your friends, dads, kids. Man, just love on your mom this morning. They deserve it. You know, we don't know how long our moms are here. We don't. And we need to love on them while they're here, you know. So I just want to tell you all Happy Mother's Day, and we love you, and God bless you.